Hey, I'm Gavin, trying to be a hero, and I try to speak truth. And what that means is I have to recognize when I tell lies. And so it's nice when people attempt to point at my lies because I try not to tell lies. I know my intentions, nobody else can know my intentions. And so if people think I am telling lies, it usually means either I am delusional, like a self deception, or they are delusional or self deception, or there can be a failure to communicate. And so, because I've practiced telling the truth, I don't know, since maybe 2008, I've been practicing telling the truth for over 10 years, close to 15 years. I am pretty good at identifying lies. And so, if you want to identify liars, what you do is you communicate in a way to understand the stated goals. So there has to be an understanding of the person's stated goals. Then there can be a period of time in which I observe the behaviors and observe how the behaviors relate to the stated goals. And once I've learned the stated goals and the behaviors in relation to the stated goals, I can point at the mistakes. And when I point at the mistakes, what is revealed is one of two things. So either there is an intentional deception or there is an unintentional deception. It's hard to know whether it's intentional or unintentional, but it's a deception nonetheless. If people are unwilling to participate in the error correction process such that there can be improvement in a person's ability to accomplish a goal, right? So the intentional lie is that the stated goal is not the goal. So that's one thing that can happen, is that the people who communicate their goals are being deceptive. Another thing that can happen is an unintentional lie, in which an attempt to do error correction and point at the behavior in relationship to the goal is ignored and disregarded because of a spirit of arrogance, which is a source of these kinds of lies based on self-deception. The hard part is to know whether or not the person is telling an intentional lie about their stated goals, or is there a arrogance which prevents error correction, right? An arrogance that causes the person to maintain the delusion. And it's pretty obvious. So one technique I've used recently is I asked the question, I said, so I learned the goal, the communicated goal, and I learned the behavior, and then I pointed at the error and how this error, this way of being, is not beneficial towards the stated goal. And I simply asked for an example of when and where that way of being was beneficial in relationship to the stated goal, and there was not an example provided. And so I would recommend this technique anytime you want to identify people who understand the truth and appreciate the truth and communicate the truth. And you can do it to me, is to understand people's stated goals, observe people's behaviors, and attempt to point at how the behaviors are not beneficial in relationship to the stated goals. And that's how you can do error correction. That's how we can do error correction together. And it's how we can identify people who are being honest and trustworthy. And so, as someone who has attempted to speak truth since 2008, I feel that I am more trustworthy than a lot of people with regard to honesty and attempting to not be deceptive. And so if you feel that I'm being deceptive, I would just acknowledge there are some things that are secrets, and I would explain why they are secrets, right? So it's okay to have secrets, but there can also be an explanation that can be satisfactory, which explains why there is secrets. This is different than a lie. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps you figure out how to become a trustworthy, honest person, and how to identify trustworthy and honest people. All right. Thank you.